going? Stefan Georgi here, and welcome to the inside of my RMBC course. I'm shooting these videos before I know exactly what I'm going to call it. I imagine it's going to be just something like the RMBC method by Stefan Georgi, but we'll see. But rather than worrying about the marketing first for this, I'd rather worry about creating really awesome content. And this video in particular is just me, and it's me talking about what you should expect now that you are inside the course, because I've mapped it all out and I'm really excited to share it with you. So what should you expect, right? And what is this? And if you're here, you probably read a sales letter, or you followed me for a while, or maybe someone you trust sent you here. So maybe you know a little bit, but let's still kind of go through it. So RMBC stands for Research, Mechanism, Brief, and Copy. And the purpose of RMBC is to get you to consistently write better sales copy in less time using this 4-step approach, right? It kind of makes sense inherently, like why you'd want to do that, but let's really go deeper on it, right? Like, why do you want to write consistently better copy in less time? Well, as a freelancer, if you can write higher quality sales copy and it's more consistent and you can do it in less time, then you have a lot more optionality, right? You can either do more projects to make more money, which I actually don't prefer. I'd rather do fewer projects and charge more, but it's easier to do that if you're consistently writing good sales copy. So now your effective hourly rate can go up quite a bit, right? Because if you're at a place where you charge $10,000 for a sales letter, as an example, and it used to take you 40 hours to write it, maybe it took you 100 hours to write it, then your effective hourly rate is $100 an hour. But if you can do that same sales letter in 10 hours, then your effective rate goes up to $1,000 an hour. And maybe 10 hours is a little bit extreme, but definitely within 20 hours. So again, that still increases your effective hourly rate from, apparently I can't say that word, but from $100 to $500. And same thing even if you charge $1,000 for a sales letter right now, or whatever it may be, by writing faster, you make more money and you do it in less time. And then you can actually charge more. So if you're charging $1,000 for a sales letter right now, and you start putting out winners consistently that make your clients a lot of money, then turns out it's easy to go from charging $1,000 to $5,000, or $5,000 to $10,000. And that's what the RMBC method is designed to help you do. And then the bigger meta stuff there, right, is obviously once you're charging more, working less, you've got more time, more control, you want to go on vacation, you want to start a side business, all the things you want to do in life. It becomes a lot easier to do those things once you are able to consistently write good winning sales copy and do it in less time. For business owners who are here, which I imagine there will be a good amount, why should you be here? Well, a couple reasons. One is, I imagine you may buy this and share it with your employees, which is totally fine, and have them writing. But also, every business owner should understand how to write good sales copy, what it looks like, what the elements are, and everything like that. Because one thing, sure, you may end up writing copy yourself. Maybe you do already, or every now and then you want to do it, or you just, whatever the reason, it's very valuable to understand the mechanics and the process behind writing great sales copy. So that's one reason. Beyond that, even for copy chiefing, copy editing, teaching copywriters, training copywriters that you hire, all of these things. I mean, so many businesses are run and driven by good copy. And this is true of long form, of which we are going to look at lots of examples of. But it's also true of shorter form copy, e-com, things like that, which I'm also going to pull some examples of as we go throughout this course. And so as a result of that, it just makes perfect sense. I'm trying to think of a good analogy off the top of my head, and I'll probably have to come back to that. But you really want to, it's like, was it Nancy Reagan or Ronald Reagan, or someone said that, they couldn't define pornography, but you know it when you see it. Well, maybe it's like, you can't define good copy, but you know it when you see it, and now you'll actually be able to define what good copy is, and you'll have a checklist, and it'll save you a ton of money too. Because if you hire copywriters that give you shit copy, you'll know it's shit copy, versus where you may be right now, which is that, you get it, you have no idea if it's good or not, you test it, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, you don't really understand why, right? And if you are the employee of a business owner and they've put you into this course or this program or bought it for you, first of all, tell them thank you. They're amazing. But beyond that, this will help you in your career in a myriad of ways. It helps you to do better at your job, better in your position with that business owner. And generally what happens when you do better and the business does, or when the business does better, you do better. They'll incentivize you. You have new opportunities, become more valuable to the company, all that kind of stuff. So no matter if you're a freelancer, a business owner, or an employee right now, I really truly believe that what's inside of this course can completely change your life. And another point I want to make too is it's not just about those three categories, but really what you're going to learn here in the art of effectively creating better sales copy. Really, sales copy is just that. It's sales and it's selling and it's messaging and it's how you sell. So I want you to really think about the fact that this stuff can apply in such a myriad of ways. If you speak from stage and you're doing a pitch, like I have actually done pitches from stage where I just used RMBC and especially the sales letter outline, which you're going to get in the C component of this, and crafted very successful pitches that have generated $1 million or more from stage. If you're doing presentations at work and you're trying to, convince somebody of anything, really convince anybody of anything, if you're doing one-on-one sales or a group sales call or a webinar, what you're going to see is a lot of the principles here. If you're, intelligent about this, and I'll try and point out the connections when I can, but a lot of the principles here can apply to basically any form of communication or selling. Really, selling is effective communication. So those two things are really tied together and go hand in hand. And I do want to encourage you to be thinking about that throughout. Don't just think about, if I show you an example in health or finance or biz op or whatever it is, I really want to encourage you, and it's really important you do this, even if that's not your vertical, it should be very easy to think about how can this apply to my vertical, my niche, my industry, whatever it is. And generally, it always is going to be able to apply to that. So I think it's really important that you do take that mindset and that you have it during. It's really very important. So I want you to agree to do that, okay, as you're watching this. Now, what is the story behind RMBC and why am I here? Why am I making this course besides the fact that, as I say, it can help you to consistently write better sales copy in less time, right? But why? So I started writing sales copy in 2012. I had a corporate job in South Florida doing outside sales, and my now wife, Laura, at the time we just recently met, she was writing copy, and I was tired of being outside all day in the hot Florida sun and coming home, and she was making 5 or 10 times more than I was at home drinking a beer in her pajamas or underwear, just writing copy. And I'm like, man, I want to do that too. And so I put a ad on Warrior Forum in the Warriors for Hire section. Warrior Forum was an internet marketing forum at the time, and it was a ad to hire me. My first sales letter was for myself saying, hire me to write your sales letter. And I priced my offerings at $149 per sales letter. And I went to bed that night and I woke up and I had $298 in my PayPal account. And it was the greatest moment ever. It was that moment of aha, oh my God, I can make money doing something I love doing. I can make money online. I can make money writing. I can make money from anywhere. All of those things kind of flashed through my mind. And in that moment, it was one of the most exciting moments of my life. And I quit my corporate job soon thereafter. I started writing copy for clients. I didn't have any idea what I was doing, but I mostly just modeled off of, other things that I saw working and had some natural talent, and things did pretty well. So that went on for a while. And then in 2013, a guy named Yifong hired me off of Warrior Forum, and he said, hey, I'll pay you $1,000 to write a sales letter. And at the time I was charging $497. So I was really excited about that. I busted my butt, wrote this kind of cool sales letter that I was excited about, gave it to him, and it did pretty well. And so it was awesome. So then he went and worked with partnered with a guy named Tryon Sava in the survival business. They had an offer called Backyard Liberty and some other offers, and they started using me for copy as well, paying me, I guess $1,000 per sales letter mostly. But what's really cool about Yifong and Tryon is that they really invested for the first time in me learning stuff. So they would show me copy breakdowns, they'd show me sales letters where they had a bunch of comments and they'd broken them down. They would tell me they would give me resources like a newsletter called the Screaming Eagle newsletter about fascinations, and we'll talk about fascinations during this training. They just were really they were kind of ruthless. They gave me a lot of difficult feedback. They'd make me rewrite stuff, but they were, for the first time, they were really pushing me to become better, so I couldn't just coast. And there were times where I resented that, to be honest with you, but ultimately it was this huge benefit because I started getting good at copy for the first time ever. And so that was really beneficial and a really special time in my life. After that, Yifeng left his partnership with Tryon to go to the health vertical or space. He partnered with some guys who were in Romania, and they had an information publishing company that was doing ebooks on health, so like guides on alternative health stuff like blood sugar, weight loss, hair loss, things like that. And I started writing for those guys as well. At first, they were the quick background is I also built like an ad agency or a marketing agency as this was going on, because I thought I needed to have an agency to really scale. And that had actually become a profitable 6-figure business. It was my first successful profitable business I ever had, but I was getting burned out because I was working with a ton of doctors and I had clients, and I was doing SEO and building websites using WordPress and doing all of this stuff. And I started getting burned out. So I reached out to Yifeng and said, hey, I'd love to just write for you guys and go back to writing copy and make my life simpler, but I need some kind of like stability. So would you guys put me on like a retainer potentially? And at first he was like, no, we don't want to have that kind of responsibility to you. And I was like, okay, no problem, I get it. But they hired me to write an offer in the blood sugar niche and ended up doing extremely well. And at that point they came back to me and said, actually, you know what? This did really well. We've reconsidered. We will put you on retainer. But the way that, well, it wasn't a retainer actually, but it was a kind of a promise of work. It was really such a special opportunity. I'm so thankful that I had this opportunity, because essentially what happened is I got to write as much sales copy as I could in the course of a month, and based on how much I wrote, like my compensation changed dramatically. So if I wrote 4 sales letters in a month, I'd get paid $1,000 per sales letter, so $4,000, and they would pay me some money to write subject lines and email creatives, and even to come up with like kind of big ideas and things like that for them. So that was great. But here's the thing: if I wrote 8 sales letters in a month, then I got $2,000 per sales letter. And if I wrote 12 sales letters in a month, I got $4,000 per sales letter. So if I write 4, I get $4,000 just for the sales letters. If I write 12, so I write 3 times as much, I get $48,000. And so I had a massive incentive to want to write 12 sales letters a month. But of course you're thinking that's impossible or it's really hard or whatever. And yeah, it kind of is. But that's what forced me to create the RMBC method, which I'm sharing with you right now, because I realized, okay, I can do this if I get really systematic. And they actually weren't all in the same niche, which is interesting. I always describe them as a health publisher, but the truth is actually they gave me a blank canvas to do whatever I wanted. So a lot of stuff was in health early on, but then we would also I would do like dating or survival or law of attraction or make money, investments, all kinds of stuff like that. So I actually got to write in all these verticals of copy, and I was coming up with the ideas. I was coming up with basically from what the products would be, all of that from start to finish. But even though they were different verticals, it was the same demographic again and again, which was like 50 plus, fairly conservative, slightly skewed male demographic. And so that's where the RMBC came from, because I was like, I need a method to consistently write good sales copy in as little time as possible, right? So as you go through the process here, you'll see that that's what I did, and it worked. I started making, between all the different, like $48,000 for the sales letters, plus bonuses, plus subject lines and email creators for all of them, all that stuff. And I started making I had months where I do $70,000 to $80,000 a month, and that was the most money I'd ever made in my life at that time by far. And it was extremely life-changing, and that was because of RMBC. Now, for me personally, I didn't just stop there. I decided to start my own company, and I went to health supplements because I already understand the health vertical, but, rather than do info products, when I do physical products, and so I went that route, and I started a health supplement company, and the first year we did $1 million in revenue, but we lost $200,000 because I didn't know what I was doing. But the second year, we went from 1 million to 23 million profitably. And all the letters I wrote, I followed the RMBC method. It helped tremendously. And then from there, I was able to, eventually I wound that health company down in like 2017. But I started writing sales copy for clients again and getting involved with other ventures, and did a 2-day intensive in Las Vegas where I taught my RMBC method to people. And 55 people came. They paid an average of, I think, $12,500 because I tiered the pricing for like early bird to last minute was $15,000, but it averaged about $12,500. And I taught RMBC over two days. A bunch of like kind of big names in the direct response world came, and they all just thought it was incredibly valuable and awesome, and it was great. And then that was kind of it. I didn't teach RMBC anymore after that. But then Justin Goff reached out to me in, I guess it would have been late 2018, and said that he wanted to start a program called Copy Accelerator. And the goal was to help teach people how to write better copy, get better at their sales copy, and be able to create stuff that could scale on cold traffic. So, eventually I agreed to partner with Justin on that. We created this program, Copy Accelerator, which is our mastermind. As of the time of recording, we've got about 120 members in it. It's a combination of freelancers, business owners, and the employees of business owners. And we teach RMBC method to our members, as well as other stuff about how to scale on cold traffic. So like dialing in upsells and winning ad creatives and a lot of other stuff that, well, actually a good chunk of it will be covered in this course as well. And those people are paying an average of $30,000 a year for that stuff. So the fact that you're here, and I don't know what I'm charging as I make this video, I have some ideas of what I'm going to charge for it, but I guarantee you it's a lot less than $12,500 or $30,000. So I hope you see the value here. And the fact that, by the way, to close the loop on Copy Accelerator, it's like people who use it, RMBC method, are changing their lives. I mean, I've got countless testimonials, and you'll see some interviews with people that I'm going to include talking about how the method has impacted them and their business and their career and things like that. And the same thing is going to happen for you. So I'm really excited to share that with you here. What you're going to find as we go through RMBC here is that it takes a lot of the mystery out of copywriting, and a lot of the copy you're going to do in the sales letter actually gets written before you even get to the letter. So that's really good for you to know too, because rather than staring at a blank screen and not knowing where to start, or doing some research but it feels disjointed, you will have a very clear picture. That's like the great thing about RMBC. It's really a paint by the numbers, step-by-step approach, where if you follow these 4 steps that I'm going to be sharing with you, you will know how to write effective sales copy, whether that's long form or shorter form. And we'll look at examples of all of that stuff here. So that's the big thing here. It's like you get a unified framework. It's logical, it's step-by-step, and there's really no other method or course like this that I'm aware of. I've seen lots of other copywriting courses and systems and people who teach it, people who train it, but I truly believe nobody teaches copywriting like I do. I think there's no method as good as RMBC. I have like a lot of data to back that up just by the countless freelance writers and business owners and employees who have all joined, who've been trained on it, and who have all improved their copy dramatically and gone from never writing a promo before to writing a 6 or 7-figure or 8-figure grossing piece of copy, or an ad it's an ad creative or long form or something else. And so I really hope you get value from this. I think you will. I'm giving away everything. There's not like this isn't the light version. It's everything. So we're going to jump right in a second here. And we're going to start with research. From there we'll go to mechanism, then the brief, then the copy, and I've got some additional bonus modules and trainings you'll see as well. But can't wait, and let's go ahead and get started with research here.